the screen. She's a straight shooter, if you know what I mean. Dishing out the truth about the royal scene with a fist of fire and a voice so keen. Hitting hard with those altar bridge vibes. No sugarcoating, no false alibis. Tearing down the lies she despised. Yorkshire lass with fire in her eyes. Stef don't play, she holds the line. Shouting from the rooftops across the digital vine. Harry and Meghan under her sign. Fearless and bold with a soul that shines. In a sea of fake, she's a beacon bright, unraveling the drama without a fright. Armored with honesty, ready to fight. Injustice quivers at her sight. Unbreakable will won't be confined. Mind of steel and heart redefined. Rhetoric sharp, leaving dust behind. In Stef's world, truth is intertwined. Stef don't play, she holds the line. Shouting from the rooftops across the digital vine. Harry and Meghan under her sign. Fearless and bold with a soul that shines. Will won't be confined. Mind of steel and heart redefined. Rhetoric sharp, leaving dust behind. In Stef's world, truth is intertwined. Stef don't play, she holds the line. Shouting from the rooftops across the digital vine. Harry and Meghan under her sign. Fearless and bold with a soul that shines.
Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Daily Nerd Live Sunday edition. So, for anyone that's watching on the replay, fast forward the usual 5-10 minutes and I will have started the main topic for today's live stream. You may also feel, hang on a minute, this stream is hella longer than usual. Yeah, so, okay, before I jump into the madness that is Hazza and Megsy, so I want to take this moment to talk about my granddad, because earlier on today he passed away. Now, I take comfort in knowing that he is finally out of so much pain and that he's ultimately free. And before anyone jumps down my neck criticising me for going live on the same day that my granddad has passed away, firstly, you can piss off. Secondly, I want to hold on to some kind of normality right now in my life. And my work here on YouTube is something I'm holding on to as a form of normality. And thirdly, believe it or not, it's what my granddad would have wanted. He would have wanted me to carry on. I even literally have the blessing of me mother to continue with my stream today. I didn't even bring my work up, right? And she just turned round and she messaged me saying, paraphrasing here, but Stef, you better stream today because that's what your granddad would have wanted. you know, for you to carry on and crack on. And so here I am. A few words about my granddad before we start. So my granddad came over from Italy with my grandma to Yorkshire and opened up a coffee bar. They were immigrants. They came over to the UK to open up a coffee bar in Yorkshire. This is why I'm here ultimately. This is why I am Yorkshire, because of my granddad. He was, it sounds even weird talking about him in the past tense, but it is what it is, right? He was extremely hardworking and determined to make the coffee bar a success. And he did. It wasn't until the 1980s, so I want to say 1983, 1984, a couple of years before I was born anyway, that Grandad decided to go back home to Italy with Grandma and pretty much the rest of the family. So there they went back to our home village where he opened up the bakery to buy from, right? Where even quite literally restaurants for miles would come to buy my granddad's bread. You know, from the nearest villages, the nearest towns, they would all come for my granddad's bread. That's how good he was. I remember when I was younger, when I was a little girl, going over to visit them and seeing him go down to the bakery at literally like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and he wouldn't finish until 6 in the morning. Like, no joke. This is why, like, he was extremely hardworking and determined to make any business he launched a success, including the bakery. Put in those long hours, best believe. I remember my brother and I, we'd walk into the bakery at like 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening after playing at the local arcade and the piazza. I remember my granddad dressed in white baker's clothing, right? Flour all over him. And the machines whirring all around him as like balls of dough were being made in preparation for the ovens. It was always a treat to like wake up in the morning at my grandma and granddad's house and there to like smell granddad's bread or, you know, even grandma's pizza, because my grandma would also be in the bakery working with my granddad as well. Distinctly remember sitting in the bakery, keeping my granddad company for what seemed like hours, watching the cartoon Tom and Jerry in Italian, which was great for me because for someone who still can't speak fluent Italian, I know enough to get by, but I'm not fluent, right? I rely on Google Translate a lot of the time. Tom and Jerry didn't speak much, so perfect show for me to watch on Italian TV, even to this day. You know, I also remember the old westerns that would also be on the TV in the bakery, which is a side note, to his very last days, he still watched his beloved westerns. I still remember the TV in the bakery to this day, walking, and it'd be in the left-hand corner, right at the top, kind of like on one of those like TV brackets, and it'd kind of be like tilted down so you could kind of arch your neck up a little bit to watch it. And I remember it being a really, really small TV. You know, those old-fashioned, like, small TV boxes. I remember that. He was very well respected and revered in our home village. Each year, at the start of the festival, he'd be chosen to help carry the statue of the, for want of a better phrase, the village saint. from the monastery down to the village's main church. He'd also then be chosen to help carry the village saint back up to the monastery at the end of the festival each year. Now, that might not mean much to a lot of you hearing this, and to be fair, I understand. It's a bit of a culture thing, that, but know this, being chosen to help carry that during the festival, like at the start, at the end, is like a humongous honour, right? Which my granddad had the pleasure of having every year until he couldn't do it no more. And this is the thing about my granddad. No matter what life threw at him, he would always, always continue the best way he could. He went through a quadruple heart bypass. As soon as he recovered, he went back to work in the bakery. When his final illness started to take hold, he still continued going up to the bar every day to play an Italian game called Scala with his friends, and he did that every day of his life in the village, right? And when his final illness started to take hold, he fought to the end to still do that, to play Scala with his friends every single day until the final last couple of months. And I'll always treasure those moments where one-on-one he taught me how to play Scala, and even more amazingly, he allowed me to play with him and his friends at the bar. Either I was good enough, or I was his favourite granddaughter in the whole wide world and he couldn't say no to me. Who knows, right? But I did win a few games, so maybe I do have a bit of skill with Scala. But ultimately, he has left behind a legacy, the likes of which is a rarity these days. His strength was something to be admired and an example to follow. And he was and always will be the strongest person I know. Right to the end. So yeah, that's pretty much me granddad in a few moments there. Like I said right at the beginning, I'm just glad that he's out of pain and he's free. So yeah, with that being said, guys, right. Let's crack on, shall we? See all your comments. Thank you so much for all your kind words. Just give me one moment. Okay. Sorry. Just a couple of things I needed to do in the background there. And compose myself a little bit as well. Um, okay. Right, so that's I wanted to give you an update and tell you a little bit about him. Because you guys have been so patient and so supportive this year, especially in the last couple of months with me going back and forth to home with everything that's going on. That yeah, I wanted to let you guys know what has happened and let you guys know just a little bit about him. Just a little bit about him. Before we go into the first topic for today's live stream, and there's going to be a lot here, guys. This is a bumper Daily Nerd Live, so hold on to your butts because we've got about 10 misadventures of Hazza and Megsy's stories to get through. Oh yeah. I'm doing this. Let's go. Before we do so though, thank you very much to Aussie Queen 2026 for gifting her leadership. Big major thanks to Flapper27 for being extremely generous as always with that $50 sugar bucks. Very, very kind of you. Thank you. Saying, Steph, I hope you're feeling better. Well, I'm not feeling lethargic anymore. So at least there's that. At least I'm feeling better that way. But the lethargic, lethargy, whatever you want to call it, again, just to explain that, because I'm an open book, I, in the last couple of weeks, have started to take antidepressants. I went back to the doctor. I have a history with depression. It is what it is, right? But with everything going on with family and whatnot, yeah. The last couple of weeks, I went to my doctor, asked for some help, and they put me back on some antidepressants that I've taken in the past anyway. So, yeah, that's why on Friday I was feeling a little bit lethargic because it takes a couple of weeks to up to a month for like antidepressants to start building up and you start feeling it and whatnot. And yeah, it's all to do with that basically, guys. So yeah, for that. But yeah, nothing to be ashamed of. It is what it is, right, guys? Never be afraid to ask for help. It is out there if you are feeling depressed or a little bit on the low side. You don't have to, deal with it on your own. Doctors are there, families there, friends there, all to help you. You don't have to suffer on your own. I just knew certain signs were happening and yeah, there was a point where I was like, yeah, okay, I need help. And so, yeah, went to doctor and yeah, they agreed. They agreed I need a little bit of help. So, yeah, that's why there was no live stream on Friday because the lethargy was due to the new medication that the doctors have given me. So, that's that. Aussie Queen 2026, thank you so much for the ginger doggy farting hearts moment. Saj, thank you so much for being a leader. I was supposed to do a leader stream today. I hope you guys understand why that's not happening right now. But thank you to everyone that's still a leader and still, continuing to be part of the leadership and supporting me that way as well. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you. General Scott, thank you so much for gifting a leadership. King Bob, thank you so much for the ginger doggy fighting hearts moment. Sarge, thank you so much for the $2 sugar bucks saying I'll send you some puppy pics, Steph. Just what the doctor ordered. Thank you. Aussie Queen, thank you so much for the $2.99 sugar bucks. Saying, love you, Steph, sending hugs and prayers. Thank you. Ms. Freedom 97, thank you so much for the $5 sugar bucks, saying hugs and prayers. Thank you. King Bob's Queen, thank you so much for your continued support for leadership for 23 months, saying sorry for your loss, prayers for you and your family. Thank you. Lisa Boo, thank you so much for the sugar bucks, saying much love and biggest hugs, Steph. We love you and your granddad. Was and will be proud of you always. Is love with, will be with you always. Love to family. Thank you. The Tashia Pound Stone Show. Much love to you, Steph. Thank you for the $2 sugar bucks for that. Rothound, hey up, Rothound. Thank you so much for the $13.99 sugar bucks. Sending big hugs, Steph. So brave and vulnerable to talk live about this. Well, yeah, I suppose it is in a way, but it is what it is. It's life. More people that talk about it, the less, I don't know, the easier it is, I suppose, for people to talk about it, maybe, you know. Anywho, open book I am, so there you go. Marianne Garachi, thank you so much for a very generous $19.99 sugar bucks, saying my sincerest condolences to you, Steph. Work is often very cathartic and grounding when grieving. You are not alone. Thank you. And Una Pecora, thank you so much for the $10 sugar bucks, saying knowing you need help is good. Do what needs doing. Absolutely. With that, yeah, with that being said, shall we get into this? It's a bumper Daily Nerd live stream. We've got 10 misadventures of Hazza and Megxie stories to get through. So let's do it with this. Prince Harry, he is fed up. He ignored Megxie, it seems, at the Kris Jenner's birthday party, extravaganza, whatever the frick you want to call it, right? And he showed that he was fed up. Like, he could not hide his hate, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, for Megxie. So let's go through the first topic right here. So as we all know, as the story came out today, Megxie and Hazza joined a buttload of famous people at Kris Jenner's James Bond-themed 70th birthday bash in Beverly Hills on Saturday. So that was yesterday now. Kris, who previously celebrated turning 60 with a party inspired by The Great Gatsby, she decided to go with James Bond theme because she's turned 70 and Bond is known as 007. It's kind of a play on the number there, which I thought was actually pretty clever. So it was an exclusive event, as you can imagine, right? And it was held at Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's Beverly Hills mansion, worth a whopping $165 million. Now, I can't even wrap my head round what a $165 million house looks like. Whether that's on the outside or even on the inside, guys, right? Absolutely freaking insane. That dude has more money than freaking whatever supernatural being or religious god you believe in, right? Like, this is insane. Now, this is the thing, right? Pictures have emerged of Hazza and Megxie entering the party, and it is doing nothing, right, to dampen the rumours that not all is well between Hazza and Megxie, that they are on the road to divorce. As you can see right here with this headline from the Daily Mail, a world away from royal duty, Prince Harry seems fed up of being paraded and unable to stage Richter's grin as he and populous Meghan visit Kris Jenner's 70th on the eve of Remembrance Sunday. Now, before we go into this any further, I've got something to say about Hazza wearing the poppy and Megxie not wearing the poppy, right? And this is actually a rare moment. I'm actually defending them on this. The damned if they do and the damned if they don't. If they wear the poppy, the criticism is either they're wearing the wrong poppy, or how dare he wear the poppy after everything he's done against the veterans, or, you know, he wasn't really a fighter. How dare he wear the poppy after everything he's done against the royal family and the British people, this, that and the other, right? But then if he doesn't wear the poppy, or if Megsie don't wear the poppy, then the criticism could be, well, how dare he not wear the poppy and honour our fallen soldiers, this, that and the other, blah, 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 blah. So I'm defending Hazza and Megsie when it comes to wearing the poppy and not wearing the poppy, because as I just kind of illustrated, they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't in that situation, right? Do you see where I'm coming from there? But anywho, with this, the article goes on to say that Hazza seems extremely fed up now of being paraded and could not stage the Richter screen as he attended Kris Jenner's star-studded 70th birthday party, a royal expert has told the Daily Mail. Now, we've heard this before recently, right? As I've reported on this channel right here, Hazza, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, allegedly, is reportedly fed up being paraded around on Megsie's Instagram. Not only is he fed up of being paraded around on her Instagram, but he's also fed up of Megsie parading Archie and Lily around on Instagram as well, allegedly, right? So this article here seems to track with what we've discussed over the last couple of weeks, right? Now, this is the thing, and you'll see the picture in a moment. Picture says 1,000 words and then some. He's walking into the party with Megsie, right? Pretty much dragging her in. And he's got a face like thunder. He is not happy. He is fed up. Megsie's grinning, right? Thinking that she's got the world at her feet now. All the pictures, blah, blah, blah. You know, she's like a pig in shiz, right? Pig rolling around in shiz. However, Hazza's not. Hazza is, you look at the picture in a moment, I'm going to show you in a moment, and he is fed up with Megsie and this whole chasing the fame game, this, that and the other. Doesn't even smile. He has a very, very stern expression, as this article then says right here. And so, this is the thing, right? Royal author Tom Bower said securing an invitation to the Kardashian birthday bash would have been a big plus for Megsie. But he said it's noticeable that Hazza is unable to stage the Richter smile, which Megsie always displays for the cameras. He told the Daily Mail, quote, he looks fed up being paraded. One day at a sports match and on another day at a celeb party. Clearly, he is now worried what revenge his brother might one day carry out against himself and his ambitious wife. And we all know what that revenge is going to be. Bye-bye titles, right, guys? But let me show you the picture in question that is telling you 1,000 words and then some. Does that look like a picture of a loved-up, happy couple? It don't. Hazza has a face like freaking thunder, right? It's like a wet fish has slapped him over the face, right? Megsie's smiling this, that and the other. But it looks fake, that smile, to be fair. But he is not happy. He is not happy whatsoever. And he just wants to drag her in. He's fed up. He does not want to be there, it seems. Opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Notice, though, how Megsie's not walking side by side with him, but instead is pretty far behind him. Now, I have an opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever on this one. And I think it's because she's trying to get pictures on her own. So if she was side by side with Hazza right now, right? Let me put it on full beam here. If she was pictured side by side with Hazza, right? Then any picture that the photographers would get of Megsie, they would also get of Hazza as well. But with Megsie being so far back, and has her just trailing her along at this point, then there's a possibility in terms of the angles that the photographers could just picture Megxie on her own without Hazza. Maybe his hand in the shot, but that would be it. Very calculated move, don't you think? Now, reactions have been obviously coming in thick and fast, but before we get to that point, this is the thing. Another thing that people had noticed was, hang on a minute, they hadn't been invited to Jeff Bezos' 60th birthday party, which was held near their Montecito home, but somehow was able to score an invite to Jeff Bezos' home for Kris Jenner's 70th birthday. And they also didn't score an invite to Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's wedding of the freaking century. Yet again, still scored an invite to go to Jeff Bezos' home for Kris Jenner's birthday party. I mean, what the hell's going on here, right, guys? Mr. Boa says Megxie had ordered her staff, this is why it happened, ordered her staff to secure invitations for major celebrity events in her desperation to be noticed, saying the Duchess has become not so much a guest for hire, but a guest searching for publicity. And this time she has landed a major party trophy. For the first time, she's mixing with A-list celebs. That's a great coup for a Duchess searching for security and approval. But this is the thing, right? As I've reported on this channel, if you guys remember, when Hazza and Megxie first moved to California, there was an article that came out that I reported on that Kris Jenner was desperate to be in their inner circle, right? And the article turns around and says that Megxie turned around and basically told her to bog off. Because basically, if I'm going to paraphrase this, she thought that Kris Jenner and the Kardashians were basically beneath her at that point. She wanted to associate herself with a higher level of fame, a higher level of celebrity, right? Kardashians just weren't that at the time. Fast forward 5-6 years and yeah, a lot's changed, right, guys? Now, reactions have obviously come in thick and fast, so let me share you some of the best ones that I could find. So here, Royally Sage at Sage1411 says, this is clapback from not being invited to the Bezos wedding. Julie Unleashed says, Megxie waited her entire life for this moment. What a massive fall from grace for these two fame seekers. Absolutely. Here we've got my good friend Lauren the Insider saying service to ego only. Prince Harry previously said my life is public service. Whenever I'm in the world, it's going to be the same thing. Harry and Meghan at Kris Jenner's 70th birthday party, also attended by Bill Gates and Oprah. Lots of potential Democrat donors for the grifters. Expect to see some cringeworthy Insta stories from the Kardashians with the scam jam in the next few weeks. Absolutely. And the rumor on the grapevine there is that it's going to be Khloe Kardashian that Kris Jenner is going to choose to get Khloe to promote Megxie and her as ever BS, whatever you want to freaking call it, right, on her Instagram, whatnot. Watch this space, right, guys? 2 more reactions. So here we've got another good friend of mine, HD Tudor, saying miserable man and rictus grinning narcissist attend birthday party. One bored, the other fueled. Can't say it better myself. But let me leave you with another good friend of mine, Stephanie Sidley, saying Harry and Meghan Markle will be on the episode of Kris Jenner's 70th birthday party on Hulu. We all knew this was going to happen eventually. This is the end of the road. It really is. Not only the end of the road when it comes to them chasing fame and fortune and A-list status in the Hollywood sector, right? But I think it's also pretty much the beginning of the end of the road when it comes to their marriage as well. Because again, you look at this picture and there's something wrong with it. I mean, let's put it this way. Does this look like a picture of a couple happily in love with a happy marriage and that everything is tickety-boo and fine? I don't think so. Do you? Now, I'm no body language expert, but it looks obvious to me. That's all I'm going to say with that, right, guys? Now, with that being said, those watching live, stay exactly where you are because I'm not done with you guys yet on this bumper Daily Nerd Live Sunday edition. We're going to get on to the second story in a moment. Prince William is done as he finally takes action against Harry to prevent even more embarrassment. What the hell is he going to be doing now? Stay tuned if you're watching live. I'm going to get into that in a moment. Just a few thank yous before we get to the second story. Firstly, we have Mum of Two Kids. Thank you so much for those kind sugar bucks saying, sending my love, hugs and prayers. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Stephen Magnus, the big SM in the chat. Hey up, mate. How's it going? Thank you so much for the sugar bucks saying, Harry went with a James Bond villain. Blow. And then the second word is job. Put them together. What does it say? That's what I'm reading it as, to be fair. Thanks for making me laugh a little bit. I needed that. Oscar Budinsky, thank you so much for being a leader for the last 36 months. Saying, hi, Steph, 36 months as part of the community. One of the OGs, mate. Thank you so much. And Una Pecora, thank you so much for the kind sugar bucks saying, they weren't even invited. She bugged someone to get her in. Well, this is the thing, right? Rumour is that it was a last-minute invite, that they were not originally invited at all. It was last-minute invite, and that they only got the invite because of WME, because of Meg's agency. I can certainly believe that. Can you? Now, guys, let's get on to the second topic for today's bumper Daily Nerd live stream. And yeah, this is a little bit of a fun one. Prince William is done as he's finally taken action against Harry to prevent even more embarrassment. Let's jump into it right now. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, yeah. Let's jump into this madness, shall we? Because reports are saying that Prince William is done and he's finally taking action against Harry to prevent even more embarrassment. Now, where is all this coming from? Now, this is coming from Radar Online, and here is the headline. Prince William is done. A furious future king planning to strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's royal titles to prevent more embarrassment. And so here, Hazard and Megxie are warned to watch their backs as Prince William is already looking and planning to strip their titles once he becomes king. What have I been saying consistently over the last few months? Report after report after report, corroborating each other, saying the same thing. Once Prince William ascends to the throne, he's going to be dealing with the gruesome twosome. Those titles are gone. But he's going to go one step further. He's taking even more action to prevent more embarrassment. What is that going to be? Well, stay tuned here for this segment. So, as we know, over the last couple of weeks, the palace has absolutely stripped Andrew of everything at this point, including his prince title. Sarah Ferguson, completely done as well, stripped all her titles. Everything is gone. And so we've got an author here speaking to Radar Online, saying that he's warning that Hazard and Megxie are going to be next to see their titles gone to avoid any scandalous stains, as this article says here, during Prince William's reign. And so here we've got Andrew Lowney, who wrote Entitled. Read the book. It is insane. I'm telling you that right now. And he says the following: getting rid of Andrew has been a very useful exercise in showing what's possible regarding titles. And it's a warning shot across Harry's bow. He then says, that when Prince William ascends to the throne, he's going to further slim down the monarchy, saying that he's going to take away the titles of non-working royals such as Hazza and Megxi. And that'll be an easy way to avoid any future embarrassments or scandals that Hazza and Megxi might bring under the reign of King William V. Now, the trim down could potentially include Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, but I'm a little bit on the fence on that as to whether he would actually do that or not. We'll see what happens there. But this is the thing. This is why I'm saying that I don't know if Eugenie and Beatrice will have their titles removed, because as I reported over the last year or so, reports were coming through that Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice were removed from the royal family blacklist after cutting ties with Hazza, after disowning Hazza and Megxi and proving themselves. So taking them off the blacklist like that, would Prince William go one step further as king and remove their titles? Well, at the moment, I don't see any reason why he should remove their titles. At the moment, anyway, right? Now, Andrew Lowney also says here, you know, the king clearly wants to get back in touch with Harry before he passes away. But William and Harry, that's not going to happen. And, you know, we've heard the reports that Prince William refused to meet up with Hazza when he visited the UK in September and reunited with King Charles. But since then, it's got worse, as Prince William refuses to be drawn into the Hazza and Megxi mess when asked about it by a reporter. Here's the article that's been going around the last couple of days. Moment Prince William refuses to be drawn on Andrew's scandal and Harry and Meghan rift as he tells CNN, I want to surround myself with people who want to do good. And so he was asked about his recent comments that he would pursue change for good. And this was from the Apple TV interview that he did with Eugene Levy for his show, which, by the way, I watched that episode. Absolutely magical, guys. If you've not watched it by now, A, you're living under a rock, and B, watch it now. And so here he said that, you know, he decided to focus on Earthshot when he responded to her, praised the brilliant people in this room, calling them action heroes, and declaring change will come from backing them, not by what I do. He then added, I want to surround myself with people who want to make change and do good in the world. And one royal watcher said, unlike Harry, William doesn't air the family laundry in public. No, he doesn't. And so a royal insider's turning around and saying the entire debacle was insane. And this whole debacle that this royal insider is referencing here is when Hazza announced he was going to visit Canada at the same time that Prince William had just arrived in Brazil for the Earthshot Prize Awards. The insider saying the entire debacle was insane. Well, that's an understatement. The insider then says he sent his people to England to smooth over relations and then steps on William's most important event of the year. Diary clashes never used to happen. And that's a good point, actually. I never thought of that before. We're all, you know, kind of ready to jump when Hazza and Megxi announce something and we realise very easily in 2 seconds that, oh my goodness, they're trying to overshadow the royal family because the royal family are doing something here at the same time. Yeah, but one thing that's not really been pointed out, at least to me, is this point. Yeah, diary clashes never used to happen. All of a sudden they do now, since Hazza and Megxi left the royal family. I wonder why, right, guys? Now, moving on from that, the insider then says Harry was never this petulant or spoiled before marrying Megxi. He was not bitter. He understood what ground rules were. This is all a new person we've seen since he married Meghan. The insider then says that for Prince William, Hazza is now unrecognisable. And I would say that Hazza's unrecognisable for me as well. And for a lot of people here in the UK. from what he used to be to who he is now. We're like, who are you now? What the hell? And so this is the thing. It's insane how he's got to this point where the discussion is now being held whereby it's not just taking away his titles, right, of Duke and Duchess of Sussex, but the conversation is also being had in terms of taking away Harry's Prince title as well. This is the thing. Prince William is looking at taking more action against Hazard to prevent more embarrassment by taking away his Prince title, but also as well, as reports are coming in, looking at creating a new letters pattern to redo the line of succession, which would somehow conveniently, and I would smile at this, remove Hazard, Lily and Archie from the line of succession. I mean, what do you guys think watching? Do you think Prince William should go the whole hog? Not only take away the Duke and Duchess title, but take away the Prince title with Hazard and remove Hazard, Lily and Archie from the line of succession? What do you guys think to that? I mean, there's even reports coming in that Prince William wants to go even further than that and take away the title of Prince and Princess for Archie and Lily. And what do you guys think to all of that? With that being said, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. We're going to get on to the third topic for today's bumper Daily Nerd live stream. And this one is interesting. Prince Hazard allegedly is now going to turn his spare memoir into a horrific Netflix miniseries. You can't make this shiz up even if you tried. So those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. But for those watching on the replay, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe here on YouTube. If you're watching on X, make sure you're following me at Stef Alter Nerd for more misadventures of the gruesome twosome. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Do you think Prince William should go the full hog on this one? Take away the Duke and Duchess of Sussex title, take away Harry's Prince title, take away Archie and Lily's Prince and Princess title, and also remove all of them from the line of succession. Do you think he should basically just go full on nuclear on their backsides and do all that? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. For those watching on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters. All right, and that was the second topic for today's live stream. And just to remind you all, guys, I'm going through 10 misadventures of Hazard and Meg's stories today. So 8 more left, and they are all juicy. A couple of thank yous before we crack on. Ms. M, thank you so much for the cute little super chat sticker there with the doggy saying my hero. That's very kind of you. And the big SM, thank you so much for the sugar book saying Meghan with her James Bond villain, oddballs. You know how to make me chuckle a little bit. Thank you so much. With that being said, let's jump into the next topic for today's live stream because, yeah, reports are coming through. I can't believe I didn't really see this coming. But it makes a shiz ton of sense now. Reports are coming in. Hazard is turning his spare memoir into a horrific Netflix miniseries. Yeah, let me give you all the details right now. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this madness, shall we? And I can't believe I didn't think of this actually happening. It's actually really obvious that Hazza and Megxi were going to do this really in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, here it is. Reports are coming through that Hazza and Megxi are looking to turn his spare memoir into a Netflix miniseries that I can only imagine is going to be freaking horrific. So let's get into the details of what we know so far about this mess. So this is being reported by The Express. Spare miniseries could be global ratings hit despite the family tension, sources claim. And so here, Hazza is being offered tens of millions of dollars to turn his memoir into a 3-part TV drama series, a top Hollywood executive has revealed. Apparently, he'd be given carte blanche by bosses at Netflix to oversee the editing of all scenes and omit incendiary subjects that have enraged the royal family. Really, Netflix is going to give Hazza carte blanche on all of it. Yeah, all right. Do you know what I imagine will happen with this series? What will happen with this series, right? In my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, is he's going to rewrite Spare. He's going to show events that had happened in Spare on the screen. And when we look at what happens on the screen and refer back to the book and where it's from, this, that, and the other, it's going to be like, hang on a minute, he's trying to rewrite it again. He didn't say that happened, or he added that in, or he said that happened, but on the Netflix series, that happened instead. Best believe, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, there's going to be a heck of a lot of contradictions between the Netflix miniseries of Spare and his freaking memoir. I see it happening. I really, really do. Now, moving on from that, here, the senior production source said to Express, quote, his company Archewell Productions would have almost total control over everything. And they accept that by giving him carte blanche, it's the only way he would ever agree to any kind of deal. Apparently, there have been informal discussions, and the source is saying, I know Harry and Meghan are both aware there are tens of millions of dollars to be earned if he executive produces the adaptation of his own memoir. And let's be real here, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, Hazza and Megxi are thirsty for those millions. Absolutely thirsty. After being downgraded with their Netflix deal, losing the Spotify deal, Megxi going to a lesser deal with Lemonada, they've lost a heck of a ton of money. And as I've said, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, they're spending like billionaires when they're actually millionaires. Money is running out. Desperate times, desperate measures. And now Hazza allegedly wants to turn his Spare memoir into a Netflix miniseries. It's going to be absolutely freaking horrific. I've already given them enough of my freaking brain cells with the other series that they've freaking trotted out on Netflix. Here's the freaking bed. When will they stop? And so the article goes on to say that so far, from Spare's publisher, Penguin Random House, he's estimated to have earned £20.5 million. But this is the thing, right, that I don't get. He signed on for a multi-book deal, allegedly, with Penguin Random House. He's only released one book, Spare. Where's all the others? I'm just asking for a friend here, right, guys? Now, the source then says, quote, a mini-series based on Spare would be a rating sensation around the world, even if Hazza glosses over some of the sections that have landed him in trouble with his relatives. Potentially. But this is the thing. It just proves all along what a lot of us have been saying. Hazza and Megxi can only have a modicum of success if whatever they do is linked or part of the royal family. Because everything else has turned to rat shits. Harper and Victor's bombed. Polo bombed. With Love Megsy, psh, bombed harder than a freaking nuclear bomb. Do you know what I mean? The only one that has had any modicum of success is Harper and Megsy mockumentary. Think about it. And so the source then adds, quote, everyone can see Harry is still at odds with his brother, Prince William, whilst King Charles continues to undergo treatment. It's a difficult time for everyone in the family, but Harry's been invited to try to bring Spare to the screen in a way that doesn't make anything worse. No matter what he does with this, it's going to make it worse. It is going to make it worse for the royal family, right? Because either he's going to faithfully, what would you say? Faithfully transport what he wrote into the book onto the screen, right? Pretty much word for word, which is going to cause damage to the royal family because just take a look at what he freaking wrote in that memoir, right? Or he's going to try and water the memoir down, which will lead to contradictions between what's in the miniseries and what's in the Spare memoir. And that's still going to create problems, not only for him, but then the royal family as well. Because then everyone is going to then be reporting on the contradictions, this, that, and the other. And I'll be reporting on that. Damn right I will be, if that's the case. The best thing Hazard could do in this situation is say no. Turn down the money. Do not do this horrific Netflix miniseries on Spare. Just don't freaking do it. As simple as that. But, you know, maybe he likes the money more than he likes his family. And I'm just asking for a friend there. Either way, if this Netflix miniseries does come to pass, oh, it's going to be freaking horrific. It really, really is. With that being said, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I am not done with you guys yet because, my goodness, the next story, let me put it this way to you. Prince Hazard has been blasted as being jealous of Prince William after his latest move. What the hell has he done? Well, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. But if you're watching either way, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe here on YouTube. If you're watching on X, make sure you're following me at Stef Alter Nerd for more misadventures of the gruesome twosome. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Do you think Hazard should not do a Netflix miniseries on his memoir Spare? I don't think he should do it. I think he should stay away from that. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. For those watching on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters. All right, that was the third story for today's live stream. We're going to get on to the fourth one in a moment. A couple of thank yous before we get into it. Firstly, Aussie Queen 2026, thank you so much for gifting a leadership to a lucky alter nerd out there. Appreciate your face. Sinister Girls, thank you so much for the sugar book. Say, should we expect a Spare the musical next? Do you know what? I wouldn't put it past him at this point. I really wouldn't. And the big SM, thank you so much for the sugar book saying, dude. Keep the jokes coming. I need them. According to BBC Verify, William will stay home. Harry will be the next King Henry. The BBC Director General confirmed this yesterday. I'm telling you right now, anyone from the UK represent, you will understand that reference. Anyone else, Google it at your own peril, that's all I'll say. With that being said, let's crack on with the fourth story for today's live stream. And those that have joined in, This is a bumper Daily Nerd Live because I'm going through 10 misadventures of Hazza and Megzi stories today. So let's get into this one right now. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this madness, shall we? Because Prince Harry has been blasted as being jealous of Prince William after his latest move. What happened? Well, let me get into it right now. This has been reported by Radar Online. Harry is unrecognisable. Exiled prince blasted for being a spoilt brat and very jealous of William as royal family feud rages on. And so what this article is turning around and saying is that Prince Hazard's alleged, we're going to have to say that, last-minute trip to Canada and his announcement whilst Prince William was in Brazil for the Earthshot Prize Awards was deliberate. It was on purpose. Hazard's trying to turn around and say, oh, no, it wasn't on purpose. It was an accident, blah, 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 blah. No. It was on purpose, a bit conspiracy theory or whatever. He's got a history of doing this. Megzi has as well, right? Of announcing things and doing things, this, that, and the other, and releasing things all at the same time where, wouldn't you have thunked it, a major thing's happening over on Team Royal. So I'm not being gaslit by this, are you? Anyway. So the article then says that Hazard's ongoing attempts to upstage significant moments when it comes to the royal family have not gone unnoticed. And this latest stunt of Hazard announcing that he's going to Canada at the same time as Prince William is in Brazil for the Earthshot Prize Awards, yeah, that's the final straw for Prince William at this point. So the article goes on to say here that Hazard was brought up with the etiquette of the royal family, which is letting someone else have their moment to shine and respecting each other's public appearances and diary schedules. The thing is, though, now he's left the family, the article says, and I have to agree with it, that Hazard seems almost now vindictive, just like Megzi, as far as I'm concerned, about stealing the thunder from his relatives from the royal family. Since Megzi, a source saying, quote, Harry was never this petulant or spoilt before marrying Meghan. He was not bitter. He understood what ground rules were. This is all a new person we've seen since he married Meghan. They also noted that Hazard is now unrecognisable. Yeah, I think he's unrecognisable as well since he met Megzi. He's completely changed. From the fun-loving prince that redeemed himself and was starting to do good for, this country, to where he is now, which is chasing fame and fortune and going to freaking Kardashian party on the eve of Remembrance Day, no less. Like, I mean, come on. It's just freaking tacky beyond belief now when it comes to Hazard and Megzi. Now, as I said before, Hazard's team are turning around and saying, oh, it was a complete accident, we didn't realise, we didn't know, blah, 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 right? As the article says here, Hazard's team is claiming that his trip to Canada was planned months in advance. Well, if it was planned months in advance, then they could have timed it better, couldn't they? If it was planned months in advance, they would have known months in advance, right? When Prince William was going for the Earthshot Prize Awards in Brazil. So they could have announced that he was going to Canada the week before Prince William went to Brazil. They could have done that. No, they had to do it the day he lands in Brazil. So yeah, them turning around and saying, no, planned months in advance, it was all a coincidence, it wasn't intentional, it wasn't meant, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, piss off with that kind of gaslighting. I'm not falling for it. The article then says it was especially insensitive given that King Charles finally met with Hazard after 19 months back in September. The insider saying the entire debacle was insane. He sent his people to England to smooth over relations and then steps on Prince William's most important event of the year. diary clashes never used to happen. And this is the thing, right? Thinking about it, as I said before now, we're all quick to jump on, quite rightly so, how Hazza and Megxie like to announce things, release things, this, that, and the other, around about the same time as a major royal event is going on. But what hasn't really been explicitly pointed out is that these royal diary clashes never used to happen before, to my knowledge anyway. They've only really started to happen, as far as I'm concerned, since Megxit. Ooh, I wonder why that is, right, guys? I wonder why. And so, here, the insider is claiming that Hazza is trying to outshine, overshadow Prince William, and I would certainly agree with that assessment. The insider saying Harry is a spoilt brat and wants attention. He's very jealous of William, not getting good guidance, and he looks miserable all the time. And so we've also got the entitled Rise and Fall of the House of York author, Andrew Lowney, even coming in on this, saying he even thinks that Hazza may be iced out of King Charles's funeral when Prince William then is presiding as the reigning monarch. Turning around and saying both Andrew and Harry will be banned from the events, Lowney said, adding the relationship between William and Harry is over. And it seems like the final nail in the coffin here is Prince Harry taking this insane move of announcing that he's going to go to Canada for remembrance, this, that, and the other, right? At the same time that Prince William goes to Brazil for his biggest event of the year, the Earthshot Prize Awards. And anyone that's believing Hazza's version of it, oh, it was an accident, it was planned months before, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. You need a brain transplant, and you need it fast. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid, simple as that. With that being said, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. We're going to get on to the 5th Hazza and Megxie story in a moment. Prince Hazza's visa row is now back in the spotlight, thanks to his uncle Andrew. What the deuce is going on now? I'm going to get into that in a moment. But for those that haven't already, please make sure you have subscribed to join our Alter Nerd tribe here on YouTube. If you're watching on X, make sure you're following me at Stef Alter Nerd for more misadventures of the gruesome twosome. Like, share, comment down below on the replay, your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. What do you think to all of this? Do you think it was wrong for Hazza to announce that he was going to Canada for this whole remembrance situation, right? At the same time that Prince William was in Brazil for his Earthshot Prize Awards? I think it was wrong. I think Hazza had an opportunity to actually announce it a week before Prince William went to Brazil, so it wouldn't overshadow, or try and overshadow anyway. What do you guys think? If you're watching on the replay, let me know in the comments down below. Again, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. But for those watching on the replay, thank you so, so much for tuning in. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters. All right, and that was the 4th story for today's live stream. We're going to get on to the 5th one in a moment. And for those that are thinking, hang on a minute, a 5th Hazza and Megxie story? Oh, yes, this is a bumper Daily Nerd Live Sunday edition. We've got 10 Hazza and Megxie stories to get through, and we're nearly halfway already. A couple of thank yous before we get into this. Big SM, thank you so, so much for all the sugar bucks that you've been sending my way this stream and just making me laugh. I really, really do appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you so, so much. And thank you so much to everyone that's actually hit the like button so far on this live stream. We've got 622 of you so far that have hit the like button. So thank you so much for that. And thank you so much to everyone that has so far hit that subscribe button today and joined our Alter Nerd tribe or followed me on X. I appreciate all your faces. Thank you so, so much. But yeah, guys, let's get into the fifth story. We're halfway through now for today's bumper Daily Nerd Live Sunday edition. And yeah, Prince Hazard's visa row is now firmly back in the spotlight thanks to his Uncle Andrew. Why? Oh, let me get into it right now. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this madness, shall we? Because Hazard's visa row is now back in the spotlight thanks to his Uncle Andrew. What the deuce is going on here? Well, let's get into it. So yeah, here is the headline from the Express. Prince Harry's visa row back in the spotlight as Andrew is asked to testify in the US in America. And so this has all come up because Prince Andrew has been called by Congress to go see them to answer questions about his links to Epstein, this, that, and the other, what he knew, what he didn't know, and all that malarkey, right? But from that, Hazard's visa row has now come back into the spotlight. How and why? Well, let me explain it all to you, right? So before I get on to that, it's very, very important to note that Andrew has consistently and continued to deny any wrongdoing, regardless of his links to Epstein, right, guys? Now, this is the thing. We've got here someone from the Heritage Foundation. Can you guess who? Starts with an N, ends with an E. He's named after a river, and his last name is kind of like garden. Bit of a play on the words there. Yeah, Niall Gardner, he's back from the Heritage Foundation. And he's saying that, you know what? If Congress are going to call Andrew to want to ask questions about his links to Epstein, this, that, and the other, do you know what? Niall Gardner's like, go one step further, call Hazard as well and ask him questions about his visa, this, that, and the other. Did he lie on his visa? Did he admit any of his details about his illicit substance use in the past, this, that, and the other? Oh my goodness, Niall Gardner does not miss a freaking beat. And for those that don't know about this long saga of a story, this has been going on now for years, right, guys? We all know that Hazard revealed in his memoir Spare about his illicit past substance use, right? And when he did that, he made a little bit of a boo-boo, because when you go to America, if you want a visa, if you've had any illicit substance use in the past, yeah, America doesn't like that. And generally speaking, you don't get in, all right? It happened to Amy Winehouse. It happened to Kate Moss, right? Their past illicit substance use, and they couldn't get into America. For Kate Moss, she had to wait over 10 years before America would let her back in. It was that bad, right? Hazard admits his illicit substance use, right, in his memoir Spare, and he's still allowed to come over. It's either one or two things. He either didn't put all the information in and so lied about his illicit substance use, or he did put it all in and somehow the US government made a special exception for Hazard and still let him in regardless. Either way, it's not good for Hazard, right, guys? And so here we've got Niall Gardner turning around on GB News saying the following. I do think actually there's a far stronger case for Prince Harry to be called to testify before Congress about his illicit substance use. We're appealing to the Trump administration to release Hazard's immigration records because he admitted to extensive illicit substance use in his own book Spare. and Prince Harry was granted entry to the United States. Normally, of course, if you've used illicit substances, that's a criminal offence, and it's very difficult to enter into the United States, like I said like 2 seconds ago, right? And here, Niall Gardner is explaining it much better than I could ever, right? Saying, was he given preferential treatment or did he lie on his application form? That is a federal criminal offence that would result in deportation of 5 years in jail. Now, throughout this whole saga, right, Prince has maintained that he hasn't lied and he put all the information on the document, on the visa application, this, that, and the other. Okay, let me tell you this, right? In my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, Hazard did not fill out that visa application. No way, no how. Do you know why? Because I won't go into too much detail, but I know someone, a friend of mine will say, who wanted to go to America. Fine, okay. But they had a little bit of a past, right? They were, how do I put this? They were arrested, but they weren't charged, right? They were released without caution, arrested, not charged, released without caution, blah, 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 right? Thing is, though, right, when you fill out the ESTA visa, which is the electronic version, it asks on there, have you ever been arrested, this, that, and the other? Well, we had to say yes for my friend, right? And so the ESTA was denied, and we had to go through the full visa documentation route for visitation, right? As a, what would you call it? A tourist, something along those lines, right? Let me tell you right now, it took myself and my friend, right? And I helped my friend because I've been to America now a few times. I've been lucky enough to do that in my life. And so I helped them with that. And shiz the freaking bed. It took us like 2-3 days to get through it all. I'm telling you that right now. And they want to know everything in this visa document. I swear. They want to know who you are. They want to know your parents. They want to know your grandparents, your siblings. They want to know what you did freaking 10 years ago. They want to know where you've been. They want to know your freaking dress size. They want to know everything. They want to know what you last ate. They go into so much detail, right? And we're talking pages and pages and pages and pages of this application that you think it's never going to end. You really think it's never going to end. And this is the thing. It's not just one application, right? Okay? You got to fill out the initial application for the visa. Then you've got to fill out another application to then get an appointment at the consulate down in London, where my friend lives. And then you got to fill out another application to the police force to get a copy basically of the history of the dealings with the police force, so you can prove that basically, in this instance, yeah, they were arrested, but they weren't charged, and it was nothing violent or anything like that. It was a silly, stupid misunderstanding, and that was it. That was it. It took us 2-3 days to get through it all. My point is this. Do you think Hazard would do that? Not a freaking chance in hell, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, do I think Hazard would do that on his own. Not a chance. I don't think he filled that out on his own. Not a chance in hell. I think, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, he had someone else fill it out for him. Because I don't think that someone like the likes of Hazard would have the inclination, the strength, the knowledge, whatever, to do it on his own and to fill it out himself. I think he would have got someone else to fill it out for him. And he might have advised and given the information if someone didn't know an answer to a question, this, that, and the other. But he'll have got someone else to fill it out for him. In my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, I am sure of it. Sure of it. Because I've gone through that route myself for my friend. It is a slog. I tell you that right now. It really, really is. And I'm used to forms, right? I used to work in complaints and compliance. And so I'm used to all that, but even that freaking beat me in the end. It really did. I had to go in a dark room for like 3 days afterwards just to freaking recover from it. But do you know what? Going around full circle here before I rant on even more. Yeah, Prince Hazard's visa row is firmly back in the spotlight thanks to his uncle Andrew. as Andrew is being called to Congress to answer questions about his links to Epstein. We've got Niall Gardner coming around saying, well, hang on a minute, if Congress wants to question Andrew over his links to Epstein, why not also call up Hazza as well and ask him questions about his visa? To be fair, I think Niall Gardner's got a really, really good point. With that being said, though, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. We're going to get on to the next story for today's live stream. And yeah, Megxie is preparing a court showdown, allegedly, to stop Prince William removing her title. She ain't going to go without a fight. Who saw this one coming? I mean, really, come on. So with those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. But if you haven't done so already, please do make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe here on YouTube. If you're watching on X, make sure you're following me at Stef Alter Nerd for more misadventures of the gruesome twosome. Like, share, comment down below on the replay, your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. What do you think about Prince Hazza's visa? Do you think he lied or not? Do you think he lied? Or do you think he told the truth and the US government bent the rules for him? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. But for those on the replay, thank you so, so much for tuning in. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters. All right, and that was the fifth Hazza and Megxie story for this bumper Daily Nerd Live Sunday edition. With that being said, a couple of thank yous before we get into story number 6 for Hazza and Megxie. There's been a lot that's been going on over the last couple of days. So before we get to that, a few thank yous. Big SM, thank you so much for the sugar book saying Andrew could tell Megxie's yacht days to Congress. Megxie's alleged, rumoured, never confirmed, no evidence of Megxie's yacht days. Gotta be very, very careful on that one. But yeah, he could. He could. I mean, let's put it this way, right? As I've reported in the past, and actually quite recently, when Virginia Giuffre was going after Prince Andrew in court, the then Prince Andrew in court, should I say, her lawyer wanted to actually call Megxie up for questions, for a subpoena. Because apparently, according to the lawyer, and I'm paraphrasing here, she knew some important information when it comes to Andrew and potentially the whole Epstein situation. Now, again, that doesn't mean that Megxie is guilty in any way, shape, or form, that she's done anything insidious or illegal, blah, 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 blah. Okay, right, guys? But, yeah. If Virginia Giuffre's lawyer wanted to subpoena Megxie to discuss Andrew and potentially his links with Epstein, this, that, and the other, then maybe there might be some truth to those yacht days after all. Maybe. Who knows? I mean, I'm just asking for a friend here. What do you guys think? King Bob, thank you so much for your continued support for the leadership for the last 40 months, saying William should bring Harry and Meghan back into the family fold and give them the titles of Keeper of the Stool. You know, you know. Yeah, if you know indeed. With that being said, let's jump into the 6th Hazza and Megxie story for this bumper Daily Nerd Live Sunday edition. And yeah, Megxie is preparing allegedly a court showdown to stop Prince William removing her title. She ain't gonna let this one go without a fight, it seems. So let me give you all the details you guys need to know right now. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this madness, shall we? Because reports are coming through thick and fast. Has Megxie called the lawyers to sue Prince William over his plans to remove her title? Is she preparing a court showdown to stop Prince William removing a title, or even just to try anyway, to say the least? Well, here's the article that's making the rounds right now. This is from Sky News. Here's the headline: "No one's taking my title away. Meghan Markle allegedly preparing to sue Prince William over the Sussex dukedom." So apparently Megxie is allegedly panicked and defiant over fears that Prince William will move to take her title away once he becomes king. And yeah, tick tock, that title's going. Is as simple as that. King Charles showed Prince William the way when it comes to his own brother Andrew, right? It's as simple as that. So I'm not surprised that Megxie is allegedly panicked, but defiant? Well, that must be the alleged narcissistic nutbag inner, right? But here we go. The recent decision to strip Andrew and Fergie of the royal titles has reportedly sent a chill through Montecito, with Hazza and Megxie fearing that they could be next. According to royal sources, Megxie believed that she could be next in line for a royal reckoning, due to everything basically that she's done in the last 5 years, right? A source close to the couple told Radar Online, quote, "Meghan's really anxious that William could one day use his position to strip her of the title. She's been telling friends no one's taking my Duchess away. To her, it's so much more than a title. It's tied to who she is, what she's built, and how the world sees her. Losing it would feel like being written out of the story entirely." And so we all know why, opinion conspiracy theory, whatever, she doesn't want to let go of that title. Opinion conspiracy theory, whatever, she's monetizing the absolute brick out of it, right? It's as simple as that. Her whole brand, as ever, is tied to her title. Think about it. When she launched As Ever, it was As Ever by Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. It wasn't As Ever by Meghan, right? Which is her Instagram handle, right? Conceivably, she could have just done As Ever by Meghan and just have it like that, because that's what her Instagram handle is, at Meghan. But no, she couldn't resist. She had to opinion conspiracy theory whatever monetize the hell of that title yet again and monetize it with her brand. And when you look at the whole kind of branding of As Ever, you look at the logo and the way that she's trying to do things on Instagram, I do feel like, opinion conspiracy theory, whatever, she's trying to have this kind of regal sense come through in the branding. It's not working, but Cowbag's trying, as far as I'm concerned. Now, moving on from that, according to Tom Sykes, Prince William is already planning a major blitz in which he's going to strip quite a few royals of their titles through a letters pattern. So he wrote in the Daily Beast, quote, "Prince William will strip Prince Andrew, along with all other non-working royals, of their HRHs and princely titles when he ascends to the throne, friends and allies of the prince have said." And this is the thing, I'm not surprised at this. Why? Because as I've been reporting over the last few months here on this channel, we've been receiving consistent reports that Prince William, once he ascends to the throne, Hazza and Megxie can say bye-bye to those titles. And a heck of a lot more as well. Now that with what's happened with Andrew, the reports are coming through that Prince William's going to do exactly the same thing to Hazza and Megxie. Take away the Duke and Duchess title, take away Hazza's Prince title, take away the HRH title, but also go one step further and possibly remove Hazza, Lily and Archie from the line of succession. Now, I'd be all for that. Would you? Would you support Prince William going absolutely nuclear on their backsides and just removing them from everything? I definitely would. Now, another insider is saying that titles still matter enormously. So much of Meghan and Harry's influence in the media, in business, in their charity work comes from being the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Without that, the dynamic shifts completely. Meghan understands the stakes and she's ready to fight it in court if it comes to that. Yeah, she understands the stakes. She loses that title, bye-bye to the millions, as far as I'm concerned. The only reason why Megxie is known at this point the way that she's known, the only reason why she has all her Hollywood friends, the ones that she's got now, the reason why she's got her millions is because of who she married. It's because of who she's bonking, or possibly not bonking at this point, because, you know, their state of their marriage, it doesn't look good as far as I'm concerned. I don't think there's much bonking anymore, but you know what I mean, right? She's only prominent now because of who she's freaking married to. That's it. Some kind of freaking feminist she is, right? Freaking joke and a half, I'll tell you that right now. Now, of course she understands the stakes in terms of the money, 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 money. Goodbye to the title, goodbye to the money. She can't monetize her royal title anymore. She can't monetize her royal links. It's all gone, all gone. I would prefer that they just do it now. Get rid of all the titles, get rid. Take them out of the royal family entirely. That's it. Done, dusted, end. I'd prefer it to do it now. But royal families sometimes work in mysterious ways. So there you go on that. But a friend of the couple, right, said to Radar Online, quote, watching Andrew lose everything and become Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was a wake-up call. Meghan has taken it as a clear warning that no title is guaranteed. If anyone tries to take her, she's not going to stay silent. A palace insider then saying that Prince William's very practical about the future of the monarchy. He wants it to feel modern and responsible. That could mean taking a hard look at how titles are used by royals who don't work for the crown, particularly those who've built commercial ventures around them, i.e. Hazard and Megxie, which, if we are to understand the Sandringham agreement correctly, states that they weren't supposed to do that in the first place with their titles. They weren't supposed to monetize their titles. They weren't supposed to commercialize their titles. Sure seems like they're doing that to me. I mean, what do you guys think? And so here, apparently, Megxie insists that she will not be intimidated by the rumours, by the information that's coming out, that once Prince William ascends to the throne, she can say bye-bye to those titles. Why? Well, the insider says here, Meghan's never been short of ambition or drive and is absolutely relentless. If she feels pushed into a corner, she'll come out swinging through the courts, the media, whatever it takes. But all the talk about moving on from royal life, those titles remain their foundation. She and Harry will fight hard to hold on to them. And that's interesting, right? If that's the case, why fight hard holding on to something that in the past, you know, you've mentioned that what it's linked to is basically racist and evil, this, that, and the other, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. I mean, they say I'm consciously biased, but you know what I mean, right, guys? If the royal family's so bad, why have the titles in the first place? Completely renounce them. Oh, no. It doesn't work for Hazard and Megxie, right? Without the titles, where's their influence? Or the little influence that they've got left? Where's the money? So, do I believe that Megxie would go to this extreme and try and sue Prince William over plans to remove her title? I think she's stupid enough to think that she'd do that. Yes. Is it practical, though? Is it practical if Megxie sued the then King William over plans to remove her title? How would that work? And I ask that only because She's then in that scenario suing a King William. Could the court compel, and may I add, a foreign court to that matter, right? Could the foreign court in America compel a head of state, the King of England, in this instance, a King William, to go over and fight this battle? I don't think so. Megxie could submit the papers all she wants. One thing that I've learned from a lot of my friends in America who are lawyers, they all say the same thing. You can sue anyone for anything. You really, really can, right? So Megxie could technically sue a King William over plans to remove a title. Well, can technically happen. But the practicalities of it, and actually, successfully doing it, is another thing altogether. And yeah, there's a slight problem with Megxie. He's going to then be king of state at the head of state at that point when I could get my teeth back in. He's going to be king. She can try and sue him all she wants, but he'll be king at that point. He could just take one look at her and say, piss off, you cowbag, not happening. And then her whole case falls down. It falls flat. But enough about what I think. What do you guys think to this madness? With that being said, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys. In a moment, we're going to get on to the 7th topic for today's live stream. And yeah, what's the real reason why Megxie's returned to acting? Apparently, issues with money is involved. Are you surprised? Well, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. But if you haven't done so already, please make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe here on YouTube. If you're watching on X, make sure you're following me at Stef Alter Nerd for more misadventures of the gruesome twosome. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Do you think Megxie has a chance in hell of successfully suing a then King William over plans to remove her title? Like I said, anyone can sue anyone for anything in America. And that's something my friends in America have taught me who are lawyers, right? But for someone to sue the King of England at that point, yeah, I see a problem for Megxie. It's the king. You're freaking screwed. You failed you failed before you even start, really, at that point. But enough about what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. But for those watching on the replay, thank you so, so much for tuning in. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters. All right, and that was the 6th topic for today's Daily Nerd Live Sunday edition, a bumper edition. We've got 10 Hazza and Megxie stories in total to get through. We're going to get on to the 7th one in a moment. Just a couple of thank yous before we get on to that. Wow. Ms. Freedom 97, thank you so much for being very generous and gifting 5 leaderships. Some of you lucky lots out there. So everyone say A up to our newest leaders, courtesy of Ms. Freedom 97. Appreciate you first. Thank you so much for that. C. Mills, thank you so much for the sugar bucks. Saying, I bought one of Klepto Meg's deodorants today. It said, remove cap and push up bottom. I'm still struggling to walk. Said, remove cap, push up bottom. I'm still struggling to walk. I don't get that one. Because there's a laughing emoji face at the end of it, and I'm thinking that this is some kind of joke. Yeah, this is my autism coming through here. I don't get the joke. I'm really sorry. You guys probably do get the joke, and all right, fair play to you. I'm missing out, obviously. But thank you so much, C Mills, for the sugar bucks there, and the big SM. Thank you again for some more sugar bucks saying, according to Harry's friend, since Lily's birth, the hair loss drugs he's on means that he's not only in court, that things don't stand up for Harry. According to Harry's friend, since Lily's birth, the hair loss drugs he's on means that it's not only in court that things don't stand up for Harry. Is that a joke as well, mate? Wow, okay. That might be 2 for 2 there, where you guys have tried to make jokes and I'm just not getting them because of my autism getting in the way there. Yeah, if it's a joke, I don't get it. If it's not a joke, I still don't get it. I'm sorry, Big SM, but thank you so much anyway. I appreciate your face. With that being said, let's jump into the 7th Hazard and Megsy topic for today's bumper Daily Nerd Live. What's the real reason that Megsy has returned to acting? The answer's pretty obvious. Let's get into it right now. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this madness, shall we? Because what's the real reason that Megsy has returned to acting all of a sudden? After years turning around and saying she definitely wouldn't return this, that and the other, she's ticked off that box, it's done, it's dusted. Well, not now. What's the real reason she's returned to acting? Allegedly, it's all about the money, 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 money. Yeah, as reported by The Express, real reason Megsy is returning to acting exposed by expert. So one insider told The Sun she's been swamped with offers, but this one felt right. Prince Harry is, of course, really supportive and quite simply wants Meghan to do whatever brings her joy. But another source then told the Daily Mail it seems clear that her return to acting essentially is an example of her being desperate for attention, to be relevant, and for the money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Yeah, I can imagine it. Can you? Multiple sources are telling this report at the Daily Mail that this signifies that Megsy returning to acting means that Hazard and Megsy financially are not doing well at all. The source saying, quote, "This was never in her plan. This confirms it. They are poor." Seems that way to me, guys, at this point. After everything that she said over the years, never say never, but I'm not going to return to acting. She was very adamant. I'm not going to return to acting. I've ticked off that box. I'm done. I'm dusted. I'm on to the next level, the next stage of my life, whatever you want to call it, right? And then all of a sudden, she goes back to acting in a movie directed by a director whose 2 movies have never seen the light of day in a cinema, has gone straight to streaming, and that's it. Bear in mind, right, that over the years I've reported to you guys that Megsy allegedly would only return back to acting if she worked with the A-list directors like Ava DuVernay. The director of this film that she's on, where she's playing herself, I've never heard of that director before. Have you? I don't even know his name. I forgot it. That's how big and how famous this director is. This is how A-list this director is that Megsy's working with at the moment. Right, guys? Now, here we've got the source over at The Express telling that outlet that Megsy and Hazard are spiraling and that they're throwing spaghetti at the wall and basically trying to just see what sticks. Because they've thrown all kinds of spaghetti at the wall, right? And nothing has really stuck. Apart from the mockumentary Hazard and Megsy, right? That was a little bit of a success for Hazard and Megsy, but since then, it's all bombed. So Megsy's trying to, opinion conspiracy theory, whatever, go back to her heyday, for want of a better phrase, and go back to acting. Thing is, though, she wasn't that great in Suits. She was all right. She wasn't that great. She ain't going to be that great now, especially freaking playing herself, right, guys? How freaking lazy is that? Now, going back to the Daily Mail article here, Um, the source there is saying it's so embarrassing, both the project and the return to acting, after years saying that she would never return, this, that, and the other. So the reporter asks here, why on earth has she agreed to go back on screen? Why on earth has she agreed to go back to acting after years saying that she would never do it? The reporter then says here, it's true. Many are suggesting one explanation for the move is that Hazza and Megzi are facing a financial crisis. The cost of maintaining their lifestyle with a huge house and private security are said to be at least $4 million a year. Another source points out that Prince Hazza made a personal donation of £1.1 million to BBC Children in Need. The couple are also said to have made substantial donation to relief efforts following Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica. And so the journalist is told here, quote, "This must be so embarrassing for Harry. She has run out of options. Look how miserable Harry appeared when watching that baseball game the Dodgers playing last week." And then one source close to the couple's operation told this reporter that she's got nothing to launch, nothing to announce, and nothing to say. It's a mess. The Sussexes seem to be spiralling. They're throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. It seems clear that she's desperate for attention, to be relevant, and for the money. My view is that in her heart of hearts, even though she never said it, she always wanted to return to acting. That's why she brought him back here to California and not elsewhere. They could have gone anywhere, but they came to California. The trouble with the move is that she's not Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth was an Oscar-winning actress turned entrepreneur. She's gone back to do a substantial acting role opposite Timothée Chalamet in Marty Supreme, which is tipped for Oscars. But Meghan has failed at being an entrepreneur and failed at reality TV because Harry won't do any more of it. So this is all that's left for her, a walk-on part as herself. Yeah, a walk-on part as herself in a movie with a director that's not well known, is not A-list, is not Ava DuVernay, this, that, and the other, right? Who has not directed a film that's gone to cinema. The two films that he's directed have gone straight to streaming. This one seems likely to do the same as well, given, you know, his history as a director. And she's playing herself. And it's a bit part. Oh, and if you're to believe the rumours, she didn't get paid that much at all. Wow. Right, guys. And so, going around full circle, what's the real reason allegedly Megzi's returned back to acting? The poor. Megzi and Hazza are poor. They're desperate for the money. And Megzi, not only is she desperate for the money, but if you're to believe the reports, she's desperate for the attention, she's desperate for the fame. She's desperate to have any kind of success. And if that means going back on what she said over the years of never returning to acting and going back to acting with a tail between the legs, she's very, very desperate indeed, isn't she, guys? What desperate move do you think Megzi will make next? For money. With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, and of course there's going to be more when it comes to Hazza and Megzi, then make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe here on YouTube. If you're watching on X, make sure you're following me at Stef The Alter Nerd for more misadventures of the gruesome twosome. For those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I am not done with you guys yet. We're going to get on to the next Hazza and Megzi story in a moment. Megzi has been blasted over her dangerous move against Prince William. What was the dangerous move? Why was she so freaking stupid to even make it in the first place? Guys, we're going to get into that in a moment. So those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you yet. But for those watching on the replay, thank you so, so much for tuning in. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters. All right, and that was the 7th Hazard and Megsy story for today's bumper Daily Nerd Live Sunday edition. For those that have tuned in live, yes, welcome to the first Daily Nerd Live bumper edition. Usually I do 3 to 4 Hazard and Megsy stories on a live. I'm doing a massive 10 Hazard and Megsy stories for you today. So we're going to get on to story number 8 in a moment. But I do have a thank you before we get into it. And again, it goes to the big SM, Steve and Magnus. Thank you so much for the sugar bucks, saying, no, it's very much true. Both illicit substances removes certain manly aspects of males. He's desperate in California to keep having hair due to Hollywood, etc. Well, yeah, there have been rumours that he's had hair plugs, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And didn't he joke recently when he was talking about that blasted Dodgers hat, this, that, and the other, that he was basically wearing it to disguise his growing bald patch, this, that, and the other? He's a freaking moron. Anywho, Big SM, thank you so much for that. Sinister Girls, thank you so much for that very generous sugar bucks, saying, Megsy needs to learn that you can't burn down someone's house, then invite yourself to a cookout at their burnt house. She burned all ties to the royals and needs to stop. Couldn't have said it better, Miss Sen. With that being said, let's jump into the 8th Hazard and Megsy topic for today's live stream. 2 more left after this. Guys, let me know in the live stream who has stayed from the beginning up until now, all the way through. Oh, who has stayed on this marathon with me? Let me know in the live chat. With that being said, let's jump into story number 8 right now. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught my eye, and oh my goodness, yeah. Let's jump into this madness, shall we, because Megsy has been blasted over a calculated and very dangerous move against none other than freaking Prince William. I mean, to be fair, if the narcissistic nutbag from hell has any chance, right, of keeping a title, the one person, should I say, that she shouldn't really be pissing off right now is Prince William. But anywho, here we go. Seems that she can't help but miff off Prince William even more. So what the deuce is going on here? Well, this is being reported by The Express, and Megsy has been absolutely savaged by a PR expert after her latest string of announcements appeared to clash with Prince William and what he's been doing, right? And so she made the headlines after news emerged that she made a shocking return to acting at the same time that Prince William was in Brazil for the Earthshot Prize Awards. Ta-da! On that same day, Megsy also announced that products from her lifestyle brand As Ever made their debut in a physical store for the first time. And that came hours before Prince William's powerful speech at this year's Earthshot Prize Awards in Brazil and his attendance at COP30. Now, just as a side note here, Megsy's announcement that her products from her lifestyle brand is now in a physical store for the first time, that announcement isn't all that it's cracked up to be. Why? Because those products are in Godmother's, which is that little bookstore in Montecito that's owned by her friend. So really, in the grand scheme of things, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, she spoke to her mate, love bombed her, this, that, and the other, and sweet talked her in somehow making her allow her to put her As Ever trash in her store, in her godmother's bookstore, which, by the way, is a bookstore, right? You go to a bookstore to buy books. You don't go to a bookstore to buy busted up spread and overpriced candles, this, that, and the other. I mean, come on, right? I mean, that's my thoughts on bookstores. What do you guys think? I used to work in a bookstore during my university days, so I know. But anyway, we have, as I go on that rant, Renee Smith, founder of PR agency The Atticism, criticising Megsy's team saying that the timing of the announcements appear intentional and described the move as both calculated and dangerous. Telling the Express, quote, "I've actually always defended her before. I've never believed she's sitting at home with the royal diary open, plotting counter announcements, but it's happening so often now that it's hard to keep calling it a coincidence. Whether intentional or not, someone on a team seems to be tracking royal moments and slotting her headlines in alongside them. It's starting to look calculated, and that's dangerous. If it's intentional, it's bad play. When your public narrative starts to look like it's competing with someone else's, you lose control of your own brand. Even if it's not deliberate, perception becomes reality. And right now, that perception is that Meghan's always trying to upstage the royals. And that perception is for good reason. It's for good reason. Because they've got a history of it, whether it's intentional or not, right? I can count on freaking 2 hands and then freaking then some. How many times Azza and Megzy have announced something, released something, this, that, and the other, right? And it's serendipitously coincided with a major thing that the royals are doing. Oh, this is intentional, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Hell freaking yeah, all day long, guys. And this is the thing, this PR expert is right. Trying to overshadow the royals in this way is a very calculated but very dangerous move as well. Very, very dangerous move. And the PR expert here says you lose control of your own brand when you do this. This is the thing. She's already lost control of her own brand. She lost control of her own brand before she even started. Why? As I always say, Megzy has a likability, trustability, and relatability problem. If people don't like, trust, and relate to her, then people are never going to like, trust, and relate to whatever she's trying to sell in the first place. And that's on her. And she is the brand, right, of as ever, blah, 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 right? No matter what that brand was going to be called, whether it's going to be called as ever, American Riviera, whatever, Royals are us, whatever, right? Whatever this brand was going to be, she already had lost control of it because people do not like, trust, and relate to her. So people are not going to like, trust, and relate to what she's trying to sell to us in the first place. It is as simple as that. Now, moving on from there, the PR expert then turns around and has a little bit of friendly advice for our Megzy, saying if I were advising her team, I'd say, please pull back. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because if she thinks, sorry, itchy nose there, I don't know why. If she thinks that for some reason, announcing things, releasing things at the same time as a major event happening with the royal family is going to do her any good, she's absolutely damn out of her freaking mind. Hasn't she learned her lesson a zillion freaking times before with her doing this? Is she still not learned a lesson even now? She still thinks it's the best idea in the whole wide world to announce and release things at the same time as something major is happening on Team Royal? I mean, come on. You'd think she'd learn a lesson by now. But no, it's not her fault. It's always someone else's fault, right? I wonder who she's blaming this time for her brand absolutely tanking and it not going according to plan. Before I rant any further, though, on this particular topic, for those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. We're going to get into the next story, Megzy's one problematic trait exposed, which is now causing her issues with Harry. What do you think that trait would be? Those watching live, stay exactly where you are and you'll find out in a moment. But if you haven't done so already, in the meantime, please make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe here on YouTube. If you're watching on X, make sure you're following me at Stef Alter Nerd for more misadventures of the gruesome twosome. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Do you think Megzy and Hazza will stop at some point trying to overshadow the royal family really in this way? I hope they do. I really, really do, because I'm tired of it now. But enough about what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, those watching live stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. But for those watching on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters. All right, and that was the 8th Hazard and Megzy story for today's live stream. I'm going to get on to the 9th one in a moment. A couple of thank yous before we get on to that. Big SM, thank you so much again for some sugar bucks saying, Godmother selling wine. No, no type 20 or 21 license. Interesting. Interesting. So I'm just asking for a friend here, but is Godmother selling alcohol without the necessary licenses that's required? Is that actually happening? And I'm just asking for a friend, not an accusation, but I'm asking for a friend based on that comment there. Interesting. Chris Mills, thank you so much for that very generous sugar bucks. Saying, Harry says minoxidil made him impotent. I use it and no effects. Do you think he is putting it on the right head? And then there's a little bit of a smiley face. I don't, yeah. Sorry, mate, I don't get it. I really don't get it. I really don't get that. If that's supposed to be a joke, I'm really sorry I don't get it. Everyone else probably does, to be fair. Again, I think this is like my autism shining through again. I'm really bad at jokes. I really am. Unless it's pretty obvious, I just can't do it. Okay, let me be real on you. Jack D, who else? Ricky Gervais. I laugh my backsides off with them. That's my kind of humor. Even the likes of Jimmy Carr. Laugh my backside off with them. So now you know what my humor's like. Yeah, sorry, Chris. I really don't get that joke. But anyway, thanks anyway. You've probably made everyone else laugh apart from me, which, to be fair, that's generally the case anyway. Whenever anyone really tries to make a joke, I really don't laugh. Because I break it down and then I tear it apart and I'm like, that makes no sense whatsoever. I just get too logical about them. I'm an idiot that way. Anywho, I'm rambling on. MPNG Greed Menace, thank you so much for the £2 sugar bucks and my favourite, the Ginger Doggy Farting Arts moment. Thank you so much. With that being said, let's jump into the second to last Hazard and Megzy story for today's live stream. Yeah, this one is interesting. Megzy's one problematic trait, which is now causing her issues with Harry. What do you think that trait is? Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught my eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this madness, shall we? Because this article actually caught my eye. I know Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, and her problematic trait is causing them issues. Now, I read this article and I'm like, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, Megsy's got a million problematic traits. Which one is this person pointing out here? Which trait is this one, right? So let's get into this article by The Mirror. So Megzy, according to a new report, is the one in control when it comes to her marriage to Prince Hazard. but she's got a character trait that's causing big issues in their working lives. Now, we all know a couple of months ago, Megxie and Hazza got downgraded when it comes to their deal with Netflix. Now, Megxie tried to polish the turd at the time, addressing the new deal, saying it was actually such an incredible sign of strength of our partnership. Problem is this, guys. As I said a couple of times in the past, no matter how much you polish a turd, guess what? It's still a freaking turd. It really is. It really is. No matter which way you slice it, it's still a freaking turd, right? Here's Megxie trying to polish the turd. It's still a turd. Anywho, we then go on with the article, turning around and saying, you know, with Megxie, my husband and I were in an overall deal with Netflix then, not dissimilar to Higher Ground and the Obama's deal. Once that had come to its term, the extension of it, which was such an incredible sign of the strength of our partnership, was now being in a first look deal, which is also exciting because it gives us flexibility to go to our partners first, then at the same time shop content that might not be the right fit for Netflix, but has a home somewhere else. She has no idea what she's talking about, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. She's scrambling. She's trying to make lemons out of lemonade. She's trying to polish the turd, but again, it's still a turd no matter how much you freaking polish the thing, right? Now, many believe, as this article is saying here, that Megxie and Hazza are struggling in the world of entertainment, which, to be fair, that's not really a shocker, because apart from their mockumentary Hazza and Megxie, right, on Netflix, everything else has bombed and hasn't even entered the top 10 when it comes to Netflix here in the UK or in the US. With Love Megxie bombed, Heart of Invictus bombed, Polo bombed, Pearl didn't even get off the ground, that was cancelled, Born to Lead bombed. It's all bombing. So, yeah, many believe the couple are struggling in the world of entertainment. Well, no shiz, Sherlock. However, Hollywood sources telling Page 6 that when it comes to Megxie and Hazza, quote, there's not only no appetite left for them in LA, but they've also worn through any goodwill they had. Another insider claiming that Hazza and Megxie have no finesse when it comes to business, and pointed to Megxie's supposed problematic trait, saying, quote, she's convinced she's smarter than everyone and dismissive. They're just hopeless in professional settings. So the problematic trait, which is causing her issues with Harry, is allegedly Megxie turning around and saying, I know better than everyone else. I've got experience in this industry, blah, blah, blah. Listen to me. I'll get us good. This'll be good. It'll be a success, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Again, no matter how much you polish a turd, it's still a freaking turd. No wonder potentially his problematic trait is causing issues with Harry. Because Hazza's probably turning around and being like, you think you know better? Well, hang on a minute. You know, let's put it this way. He could easily turn around to her and say, well, you're an expert when it comes to bombing. No, not bumming, bombing, right? B-O-M-B-I-N-G. I know my Yorkshire accent sometimes can, you know, sound a little bit weird, but there you go. I had to be very, very clear on that. Anywho, this is the thing, right? This then leads on, right, to this article that I saw here, right? Not only are reports coming through that she's got a problematic trait that is essentially harming Hazza and their professional relationship, right? But also, she's also harming their personal relationship as well, their marriage. As this article says right here, exclusive, Meghan Markle's growing divide with Prince Harry amid toxic feud. So royal expert Richard Fitzwilliams claims that the recent events that have happened when it comes to Megxie and Hazza not only show that the feud between the Sussexes and royals is alive and well, but also points to a growing divide between Hazza and Megxie, with her focus on a Hollywood comeback further proof that a return to the UK isn't on the cards any time soon. Because a lot of the actions that Hazza has been making recently A lot of people are saying, he's missing the UK, he wants to come back, he's finally realised that the grass is not greener on the other side over in Montecito. I wouldn't be surprised if he's come to that conclusion, to be fair, at this point. Now, he also says Meghan's decision to appear as herself in a Hollywood comedy film definitely emphasises a shift towards the US, but Harry still feels very deeply about his homeland and would like to spend more time in the UK. The same cannot be said for Meghan, so there's a clear divergence in opinions there. We also don't know what will come after this film, but we do know that they have Netflix projects to deliver, so this may only be the start for her in Hollywood. Yeah, a little bit part in a film that's going straight to streaming by a director that's not really that known whatsoever. Yeah, that's not going to land her a big A-list Martin Scorsese film starring alongside the likes of Leonardo DiCaprio. That is for damn certain. She ain't there. She'll never get there. Not a freaking chance in hell. Now, Richard Fitzwilliams also says, quote, Harry would very much like to see more of his father, especially as he said publicly he doesn't know how long he will live for. It's also King Charles's birthday very soon, and that will no doubt trigger more feelings of regret for Hazza. But Megxie is focused on her commercial success. Her brand is currently far enough removed that it shouldn't be damaged, and she will certainly want to keep it that way. The levels of toxicity are such that there's certainly potential for damage to be done. Well, the damage is already done. She's screwed, right? As I've reported in the past, a lot of people in Hollywood and the A-listers have completely turned their backs on Hazza and Megxie because the fruit of the poisonous tree. They've learned any kind of association with Hazza and Megxie is not good for them. It really, really isn't. So they don't want anything to do with them, right? It's done and dusted. But the one problematic trait, which is now causing her issues with Hazza, is Megxie's continued obsession to try and have fame and fortune in Hollywood. But Hazza's realised, allegedly, that the grass is not greener on the other side over in Montecito, and he wants to go back to the UK, if you're to believe the reports. But Megxie's doing everything that she can to try and stay in the US. Yeah, that's not good. I'm telling you right now. They are headed for divorce with a capital freaking D. So many articles coming out. Problematic trait here. Growing divide there. Where there's smoke, there's usually fire, guys. With that being said, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. We're going to get on to the last Hazza and Megxie story for today's Bumper Daily Nerd Live. But if you haven't done so already, do make sure you are subscribed to join our Alter Nerd tribe here on YouTube. If you're watching on X, make sure you're following me at Stef Alter Nerd for more misadventures of the gruesome twosome. Like, share, comment down below on the replay, your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. What do you think is Megxie's one problematic trait that's causing her issues with Hazza? What do you guys think that might be? Let me know in the comments down below if you're watching on the replay. Again, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm still not done with you yet. For those on the replay, thank you so, so much for tuning in. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters. All right, and that was the second to last Hazza and Megxie story for today's Bumper Daily Nerd Live Sunday edition. It's a little bit of a special one. I'm doing 10 Hazza and Megxie stories today rather than the usual 3 to 4. What do you guys think of it so far? Let me know in the live chat or the comments down below if you watched on the replay and you got this far. And if you got this far, bloody hell, well done to you guys. With that being said, thank you so much to everyone that's keeping me company up until now in the live chat. Big major thanks to everyone that has liked this stream so far and that has joined the ranks and subscribed to our Nerd Tribe today. I really appreciate all your faces. And for those that have hit that follow button on X, I appreciate your faces too. With that being said, let's get into the final Hazza and Megxi story for today's live stream. And yeah, remember Prince Hazza's UK message about his love for Britain, this, that, and the other? Apparently, there's a brutal hidden message that we all missed that was towards Megxi. Let's get into it right now. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this madness, shall we? Because remember Prince Harry's essay on his love for Britain and banter and all that malarkey, right? That I actually tore apart in a previous video. Well, I missed it. Did you? Apparently, there was a brutal hidden message in that whole thing, and it was towards Megxi. What the deuce is going on here? Now, the Mirror are claiming it as their exclusive, Prince Harry's brutal hidden message to Meghan Markle in essay about Britain. And so, just to remind you guys what this was, it was a 647 word piece, word salad situation, right? Titled The Bond, the Banter, the Bravery, what it means to be British. He also discusses what it's really like to live in Britain. He has no clue. And gushes over the charms, quirks and characteristics of the UK. Now, according to one expert, right, the astonishing address also contains a hidden message for Megxi. Analysing Hazza's choice of words, communications specialist Judy James told the Mirror, quote, "Expat Harry writes in a style of deep nostalgia for the country he left. He sounds like so many expats that retain an unrealistic, idealised memory of the country they left, as though it had been picked and preserved in another era that might not reflect the modern reality. Despite his normally constant adherence to his love of his life in the US, Harry sounds like a man still yearning for what he calls the banter of the mess, clubhouse, pubs, and the stands. And despite this yearning, she then says that Hazza sounds embarrassed by this reveal. Adding, ridiculous as it sounds, he seems to be apologising to his US audience, perhaps even to his own family, for this admission of nostalgia and what sounds like a sense of longing. This is an important sounding admission too. Most expats yearn for jars of Marmite or English tea bags, but Harry is letting everyone know, including Meghan here, that he's missing a kind of shared, intense, complex humour that he might not be able to get in the US. Uh-oh. In other words, Megxi's not all it. She's not all that. Hazza's not happy with Megxi. Hazza is not happy with his life with Megxi, because she ain't able to provide him everything that he needs and wants, which includes the, quote, kind of shared, intense, complex humour that he might not be able to get in the US. Oh, he's turning around and saying, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, he'd rather live in the UK now rather than the US. Does he regret moving to the US? I certainly believe that. I mean, what do you guys think? Now, the article then goes on to finish saying, Judy believes that there's even a pang of longing for Hazza's brother William, saying, quote, Harry was a man who grew up and cut his teeth on banter, especially with his brother William. Interviews back in the day show their banter together was relentless. And there is a suggestion that in promoting the word so strongly and emphatically here, when I can get my teeth back in, Harry is implying, perhaps subconsciously, how much he misses his older brother. He misses his older brother. He wants to go back to the UK, it seems. Megxi, though, doing everything that she can, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, to stay in the US. Oh, they are so headed for divorce. It is unreal. Opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. But the brutal hidden message to Megxi in his UK I Miss Britain essay situation. Yeah. Megxi, you just cannot provide the kind of shared, intense, complex humour that Hazza wants, is used to from the UK. She's just not good enough. Oh, for an alleged narcissistic nutbag from hell, that's got a sting, don't you think? With that being said, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm still not done with you yet. But if you haven't done so already, please make sure you are subscribed to join our Alter Nerd tribe here on YouTube. If you're watching on X, make sure you're following me at Stef Alter Nerd for more misadventures of the gruesome twosome. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. What do you think? I mean, based on all this, I really do think that Hazza and Megsy are headed for divorce and Hazza's going to move back to the UK. But what do you guys think? For those watching on the replay, let me know in the comments down below. For those watching live again, stay exactly where you are. But for everyone else, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters. All right, and that was the last Hazza and Megsy story for today's bumper Daily Nerd Live Sunday edition. Why did I do all of this? Well, as I mentioned right at the beginning of this live stream, my granddad passed away, and tomorrow I am going back home to Italy. But, you know, so yeah, all these segments are going to be re-released as usual throughout the whole week. So we've got content now for the full week, guys. So when you see these videos on your notifications and popping up, please give them some love. And please click on them and give them a little bit of a friendly watch again. I'd really appreciate that. A few thank yous before we end tonight's bumper Daily Nerd Live. Al Slim 9239. Thank you so much for that very generous sugar bucks there. My goodness, wow. Saying this is my favorite part of Sunday night before Monday work day. Really? Wow, thanks for that. That's very kind of you to say. Sorry I've missed a few. Here now from Northern California. Oh, no need to apologize. Thank you so much for tuning into this one. I really appreciate it. And that's very kind of you to say. Very kind sugar bucks as well. Thank you so much. MPNG Creed Menace, thank you so much for your continued support for the leadership, saying, oh, I really need to say that. Watch out for the kamikaze bummers. Yeah, that is a joke I do get. Thanks for that, mate. And Lizzie B, thank you so much for your continued support for the leadership. Thank you, saying thank you for another live stream, Steph. We appreciate you and so sorry for your loss. And yeah, for everyone out there, thank you so much for, you know, all your kind words and your condolences and your compassion. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, with that being said, I am off. So I'm going to be in Italy tomorrow, and I'm not going to be back in the UK until Friday. Guaranteed there's not going to be a live stream on Friday, but there will be content, so please look out for that. There should be, hopefully, I intend to do a live stream for Sunday next week. But it will depend on how I'm feeling at that point. So please do bear that in mind. It's really strange right now because I love my granddad. He was one of the most important male figures in my life growing up. And he's not with us anymore. And I think the tears will come, but I've not cried yet. I think it's just shock. Even though we've known this day's been coming for a while now. But I'm in shock. And I think to a certain extent, I'm just in robot mode at the moment because I'm having to I'm having to sort things out with family and all that lot, uh, with my mum and, um, to a certain extent, my brother as well and all that lot, and so it's like, okay, I can't fall apart yet, for want of a better phrase, because there's things to do. Um, then afterwards, when it's over, then that might be the time. Uh, but right now, yeah, I just feel shock, numb, and the best thing for me to do right now is just be in robot mode. Just look at the technicalities of it all. What needs to be done? What's the next step? What needs to be done after that? What needs to be done after that? And just get through it that way. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, I'll always remember his last words to me. They were very poignant and they mean a lot. They really do. My granddad was, yeah. My granddad was the strongest person I knew. It really was. Fuck cancer. Yeah. Oh, Ms. M, thank you very much for this great stream. Big hugs to you. Thank you. Yeah, so, yeah. With that being said, I'm off now. Thank you so much to everyone for all your kind words, your compassion, your care, your support. I appreciate it. Thank you so much to everyone that's kept me company right to the end of this bumper Daily Nerd Live Sunday edition. It's been mad, but do you know what? It might be something I might do again, actually. I've kind of enjoyed it in a way. So yeah, look out for maybe another bumper Daily Nerd Live in the future. Thank you so much to everyone that's taken the time to hit that like button. Thank you to everyone that's subscribed to the YouTube channel over here or hit that follow button on X for more misadventures of the gruesome twosome. Appreciate you all over on X as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Special thank you to everyone that's been able to send a few sugar bucks my way. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. With that being said, that's it for me. Appreciate you all. Take care of yourself out there. And until the next time, laters.